Hello, 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 friends. Nicholas here with DIVO TED Talks or Devoted Talks, depending on how you want to say it, where we take ancient wisdom and practices through a modern lens and experience to help you and those you love and suffering in your personal and greater worlds. I just had a fantastic conversation with a client after a fantastic session yesterday. The session yesterday took almost 2 hours, but it was really good. It felt very inspired and guided, universally influenced and resourced, and it was really awesome. But we just had a conversation. I was like, man, I got to jump on while this is fresh in my mind and start talking about it. But we were talking about harnessing new things that come into our life and or evolve things that may have returned into our life, like something that you used to do before that you thought was gone and then it came back, a skill or some ability like speaking or riding a bike or whatever you want to call it. But I was talking about harnessing and they're like, oh, I don't like to do that because it's control. And I was like, why would it be control to harness something? I was like, and I don't know where this came from, but it was very poignant. But it was just, well, what about when you saddle a horse and you harness it, and it's the device through which that you are able to communicate with the horse and work together to achieve a goal? It was just like, wow. Why does harnessing have to be this, pathological thing that we're trying to do, as control versus not? And of course, I always encourage, please check in with yourself because maybe it is a form of control for you, but why would it have to be always, right? And generically, why would it necessarily be that? So, there is some considerations though when you're talking about the horse, right? We're talking about breaking the horse, but the horse isn't a slave. The horse can still do what it wants to do, right? And part of the breaking is the breaking of the resistance to the collaboration, the breaking of the will that I can do whatever I want and have this be a functional relationship. We're not talking about punishment and we're not talking about mistreating the horse, but the breaking is this breaking of resistance to whatever it is the cowboy or the farm owner is trying to facilitate, to which then room and board and feed and care is in exchange for a good life, so long as we do these things together, whether it's riding, whether it's, plowing or whatever. I don't know what horses do these days, but some people do harness their horses and use them strictly for things that aren't collaborative. And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, this power or this ability that when we harness it, we're not trying to control it or use it as another form of dysfunction, but rather as a tool that connects us to the gift and to the power that we have to be able to collaborate for the better of both, right? The synergy is the growth of both, the help of both, the exploration and expansion of both. And so, how is this power, for instance, or ability or skill served by the collaboration synergistically? Well, if you work together, it's going to get further places than it can on its own. That's just by nature of the fact that if you do that thing or perform that thing, it is going to disseminate more. So it is better to be in collaboration with the person for whom that gift or skill is a part of, and then putting it out there into the world, whether it's singing, whether it's dancing, whether it's reading tarot or healing or medicine or whatever it is. We have these gifts for a reason. Those reasons may not always be known to us, but those reasons can be utilized for the betterment of all involved, including the actual gift itself. Right? The gift itself is meant to be shared. And therefore, if you collaborate with it, you then share it, right? Oh, so it's very interesting, but it was just like, it was so on the nose and just right there. I was like, well, you harness a horse or you harness an animal and then you collaborate with that animal to achieve the goal that you're looking to do. So why is harnessing a bad thing? But we're not talking about the enslavement of horses or the enslavement of animals. We're talking about harnessing them so that it is easier to work together than to not work together, right? In that context. And then the harnessing here isn't just taking the energy away and putting it over here. It's rather, I am adjusting the flow of the energy or whatever it is, the gift, so that it goes to places that it is meant to go and can only go through me or with me. It sounds very vague, but it has to be vague to be able to recognize the fact that it could be anything. It's non-specific, what it is. It's non-specific how it will show up and how it will get out there. It's non-specific in that regards, but it is very specific to the individual and to the collaboration between the individual and the gift, such as it is. So, how does this relate to yoga and Ayurveda? It is the essence of the interplay of the gunas and the essence of the interplay of the doshas. And so you have these different elements in different combinations coming into contact with each other. And if they come together appropriately, if not optimized, then they will be more than together than the individuals separately, the synergy. If the qualities come together in ways that are friction, detracting, or dissonant, then it's not going to feel right. It's not going to feel possible, and it's not going to leverage well. And so, what yoga and Ayurveda are telling us is that it is meant to be practiced like the practice of yoga. And in the practice of these gifts, we often are performing yoga because we are connecting with our greater self, with our greater expressions, and our greater beingness as we do so. And through that, good things, beneficial things, transformative things can, will, and do happen for everybody involved. So, what is your main takeaway? Be authentic and know what the difference between control and collaboration is, the difference between perfectionism and high standards is, right? Where we get from disease to health and wellness, because a lot of times disease or diseased things is just too much of something, right? It's not in the right dose. It's not in the right amount for us, and therefore it's not a match, and then it detracts. So take the time, meditate, do whatever you need to do, and come to an awareness of what the right amount is for you, or practice regularly so that you know when too much shows up and when not enough, and or when the right amount is, so that it can recapitulate itself and transform itself and those it touches. All right, my friends, be well and be free.